Second is determine the requirement sequence of task. Now what are the sequences? So you are supposed to go with sequences. Identify start and end dates. So when to start and what time they can actually finish those projects. You'll get to know about the start and end dates. Second is anticipated total required completion of the time. Now it is commonly used in conjunction with the program evaluation, that is PERT. The dependencies between the activities, and the last one is logical endpoints such as milestones or Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Abhilash Chandra from the Department of Commerce and Management in Vidyashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome to all the students here. Now we're going to go with the next session of business management. In this session, I'm going to explain you about PERT called PERT. Then we'll explain you about CPM and JIT. Now what exactly these topics are. Now these topics are very important because you may get a question for 15 marks or 10 marks or even for 5 marks. So I'll be covering all the three parts, that is part A, part B as well as part C. So let's know about what is PERT, that is all about program. Now P stands for program, and when we go with this, E is evaluation, R is review, and T is technique. So it is program evaluation review technique, or PERT is a visual tool used in project planning. So PERT is very useful here because many of the people, when they go for any kind of a evaluation or what is the project we are supposed to do first and the second and the third, they use PERT. Now using the technique, what happens is it helps the project planners identify start and end dates. So when to start and what time they can actually finish those projects, as well as interim required tasks and timelines. The information is displayed as a network in chart form. It is not in a regular form. It is always represented in the chart form. Now planners identifies. Now how is that the planners will identify those things? Now I've given you a few of the steps. The first one is they'll get to know about the start and end dates. Second is anticipated total required completion of the time. Third one is all activities referred to as events on the chart that impact the completion time. And lastly, we have like the requirement sequence of events and the probability of completion by a certain date. So these are the probabilities. Now we can't be sure that only at that particular time only we're gonna complete it, because life is uncertain, business is uncertain, project's completion is also uncertain. It can happen because of micro environment or macro environment. There will be a problem. So that time, the time will be taken little more. So these are the identifiers, how they actually go with it. Now let's know the PERT process, how the PERT process has started and what are the steps involved in the process. The first one here, if you understand that PERT has a set series of steps in mapping out. So what they do is mapping out a complex project, which include the first one is list all the tasks and milestone required for completion of the project. So you are supposed to list each and everything. Second is determine the requirement sequence of tasks. Now what are the sequences? So you are supposed to go with sequences. Then design the chart to visual display all the steps. You need to go with drafting all the steps. Later is estimate the time required for each task. So for each task, what is that you are supposed to do is say 2 days, 3 days, 6 hours, 7 hours. What is the time which you're going to take? You are supposed to list. You should not leave even a single task. Each and every task you are supposed to list it. Identify the critical path. Critical path in the sense the longest series of tasks in the project. And lastly is adjust the chart to reflect progress made once the project starts. So this is what the process of PERT is all about, from the first till the last. Next we have something called CPM. And what is CPM? Critical Path Method. CPM is, it stands for Critical Path Method. Here what happens is the critical path method or critical path analysis CPA is an algorithm for scheduling a set of project activity. Just like the PERT, you are supposed to schedule them. Now it is commonly used in conjunction with the program evaluation, that is PERT. So it is always used conjunction wise. A critical path is determined by identifying the longest stretch of dependent activities and measuring the time required to complete them from start to finish. So here what happens is, just like path, here you have something called a critical path method, or you can actually say critical path analysis, where it will go with conjunction with PERT. And here what happens is, with the CPM, the techniques for using CPM, how is that CPM is actually used and how the planners will go with it. The first one is a list of all activities required to complete the project, typically categorized within a work breakdown structure. The time, that is duration, that each activity will take to complete. The next is the dependencies between the activities, and the last one is logical endpoints such as milestones or deliverable items. So these are the techniques which is used while preparing CPM. Last one we have is JIT, that is the definition just in time. That is, you need to go for right time and then do it. That is called just in time. Now here what happens is, when we go with JIT, please understand the JIT concept. It's a very important concept, and many people, they use JIT in all the industries and manufacturing units. So just in time, also known as JIT, is an inventory management. It is what? It's an inventory management method whereby labor, material and goods to be used in manufacturing are refilled or scheduled to arrive exactly when needed in the manufacturing process. Say example, you need raw material because your laborers are waiting now. Now just in time you are supposed to have those raw material, or else what happens is your laborers will not have any other work to do and you will be wasting that particular time, or they'll be wasting that particular time, but still you are supposed to pay them the wages. So just in time you are supposed to have. Say example, you got raw materials but you don't have laborers. Just in time they are supposed to be there. Again, you are supposed to know all these things. Now, JIT approach has the capacity, when adequately applied to the organization, to improve the competitiveness of the organization in the market significantly by minimizing waste and improving production efficiency and the product quality. So JIT will actually go with the quality. They will only go with the quality and the production. I've given you a few of the advantages and disadvantages of JIT. The firstly, we'll go with advantages. Here what happens is, JIT emphasizes the right, that is first time concept, so that the revoke cost of the cost of inspection is minimized. By following JIT, greater efficiency and high quality products can be derived. Better relationships are fostered along the production chain under JIT system. Higher customer satisfaction due to continuous communication with the customer. And lastly is just-in-time adoption result in elimination of overproduction. So these are the advantages of JIT. Now what are the disadvantages of JIT? When you understand the disadvantage, you will also know that yes, in every aspect we have a boon as well as we have a bane. So what is the disadvantage? JIT approach states zero tolerance. Now, when you are going with qualitative products, when you want qualitative, you want standards, when all the things are proper, now what happens is, you cannot go with any tolerance. It is zero tolerance kind of a activity for mistakes, making rework difficult in practice, as inventory is kept to a minimum level. A successful application of JIT requires a high reliance on suppliers whose performance is outside the peer review of the manufacturer. Due to no buffers, see, you should never have buffers in JIT. Now, production line idling, the downtime can occur, which would have an unfavorable effect on the production process and also on the finance. So when you go with a JIT, you need to have proper suppliers, you need to have proper workers, you need to have proper inventory. Now everything should be proper. Now something happens. Now what happens? Just say example, your suppliers. Your supplier is outside your company, your organization, your industry. Now he will not supply the raw materials. Now JIT will fail. Now that is a drawback of JIT. Chances are quite high of not meeting an unexpected increase in order, as there will be no excess inventory of finished goods. See, today I went with 20,000 orders, and tomorrow if I get 2 lakh orders, now I can't manage JIT because uncertainty, unexpected things, or more increase of production, increase of sales, JIT will not take it because they are not ready to accept the flexibility here. And lastly, transaction costs would be comparatively high depending upon the frequency of transactions. So here there is a very big disadvantages of JIT. So these are the things which I need to explain it to you, that is PERT PERT. Then we went with CPM, and lastly I went with JIT. If you have any doubt regarding this, please do call us. We're always there to help you. Thank you so much. I'll see you when I see you.